Hey crafty friends, Adrienne Bosey of Alice Scraps Wonderland here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing how you can apply 3 easy mixed media techniques to your cards, and you can do these for winter or Christmas themed cards, which I'm going to do today, or you can do it with any themed card that you want. But today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this beautiful prismatic paste from Sizzix, as well as their creamy white matte acrylic paint and their dimensional 3D paste, which is just like a white. It dries completely opaque white paste. So we'll be using this today on 3 different cards. All right, so I've gone ahead and gotten out my Sizzix multimedia mat, and we're gonna start with the Prism paste, this really pretty iridescent paste. And I am going to be using this with one of these new Stacey Park Thinlit dies. This is the Cosmopolitan Christmas Star Bright, and there is the number for you. And I'll have all of the supplies that I'm using today linked down in the description box for you so that you can shop those easily. And I have already pre-cut out the pieces that I want to use, just to make this easy and simple so that we can focus on the mixed media techniques today. But I did cut this out with my Big Shot switch from some Sizzix cardstock. And I'm going to be doing a 5x7 card today, which I haven't done in a while. And I cut 2 sized mats here in the same blues that I used for the die cuts. And I have also cut a smooth white Sizzix cardstock piece. And we are going to be using, let me get my tools out. We're going to be using this paste on here to create a background. And I'm going to be using my Sizzix multi-tool Effectz. I'm just going to take my brayer off here and put on the long palette knife instead. And we're just going to apply a layer of this to create a background. Super simple. And then we're going to set it aside to dry, and we'll move on to the next one, and we'll come back and assemble the card at the end. I'm just going to give this a little stir just to make sure that the glitter is incorporated. Sometimes you'll get like a lot of the gel coming up to the top when these jars are sitting around for a little bit. So we're just going to get that. And you can see this like flaky iridescent glitter that's in there. It's so pretty. And we're just going to take a little bit of that. We're literally just going to apply this and kind of create like a glossy cardstock basically with this chunky glitter in there. And you can apply as much as you want, as little as you want. But just know the thicker, of course, that you apply it, the longer it's going to take to dry. And your card will probably curl a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to try sending it through my switch to see if that kind of helps flatten it after it's done drying. And then I'll use a really good adhesive to help hold this in place. This is just kind of, I think, create a nice wintry snowflake background that'll match this die so well. All right, and that's it for this first card for the mixed media technique. So this is something that's really simple. You don't have to know a lot about your paste and things like that. Make sure you always kind of push that lid back in. That'll make it easier to shut this. But so that's it for this one. I'm going to set this one aside and let that dry. And I'm going to want to use this palette knife on another thing. So I'm just going to clean it off with a little wet paper towel. You could use a wet wipe. You can use, you know, your reusable towel, whatever you use to clean up with. I'm just using a wet paper towel today. Just clean off my mat a little bit. So that's the first one. And then for the second one, we are going to emboss something. Take that out of the packaging, a little ASMR there for you. This is the 3D Textured Impression, also one of the new Stacey Park seasonal holiday collections. And this one is called Cosmopolitan Golden Rings. Again, there's that number for you. And again, it will be listed in the description box below. And so I am going to emboss this on a piece of Tim Holtz craft cardstock. I will do that off camera, but remember these are 3D embossing folders, so you just want to make sure that you're giving a good spritz to both sides of your cardstock before running this through. I'm going to do that off camera just because I'm not set up to have my die cut machine over here at my table where I'm filming. But I will mist this on camera here, and I'm using the Spellbinder's Mighty Mister. So I can get all that in the camera there. I really like this. You pull the trigger, it sprays for a couple seconds. So it gives a good mist, especially for those 3D embossing. And I will emboss this off camera and then we'll come back. All right, so let's open this up and see it together. That turned out really beautifully. I really like this pattern because you can use it for Christmas. You can use it for every day. Looks like I had a little paint or something on my finger from another previous project. Anyway, so that looks really nice. I just really like that simple pattern. It's just a beautiful background. And I am just going to, because I sprayed quite a bit of water on here, I'm just gonna dry it off because we want this to be dry when we do the mixed media technique. I don't want any excess water on here. So it's still kind of damp because it's cool, but this should work just fine for this technique. So for this one, I'm going to be using the paint, and I am going to switch back over to my brayer. I do want to use my brayer for this. My brayer is a little dusty. I'm going to clean that off. I don't want that dust on my... It's really dry and dusty where I live, so things like this just get dirty. Here we go. All right. I can dry that off with my hands. All right. So what I want to do with this is I just want to put a little bit of this onto my craft mat. I don't want too much. We don't need too much. And I am just going to get my brayer inked up here. You can kind of see that. And we're just going to run this right over just to highlight that texture. So I know a lot of people do this with like ink pads, but don't forget that you can use a brayer and paint for this technique as well. And that just creates, it kind of looks like it's that, you know, like kissed texture almost. It's not like quite smooth. It's got that kind of like dimpled fuzzy texture to that paint. I think makes it look like snow. So I think that with the white paint, that's just perfect for wintry Christmas projects. So again, I'm going to set this aside to dry, and then we will work on the next aspect of this, which I also want to dry. This is like a little bonus technique. Let me clean my paint off here. Anyway, that's a good wipe down for now, but I will take this to my sink and finish washing it later, but I'm done with that piece, so we won't need it again, but we'll get that ready. I've already cut the Tim Holtz Colorize Yuletide. This is the wreath. I've already cut and assembled it, but I want to make these berries glossy. I only did the bottom layer of the berries, and that's because I just want to make them, I want to make them look glossy. So we're going to use the Sizzix Effectz Liquid Gloss, and you've probably seen the creators over at Sizzix use this. I'm just going to get it started there on my mat. So it's not getting air bubbles out at me. You've probably seen them use it on like the 3D paper flowers and stuff, but you can use this on other things too. So I'm just going to kind of like, we're just going to fill this in a little bit, and it'll probably be a little bit easier on the smaller berries, but just kind of want to give these berries some dimension and make them look glossy and pretty. If they're not perfect, you know, that's fine. You guys probably heard me talk about this in my SBC Fest class back in March. And with mixed media, you're not looking for perfection, you know. Plus, there's no such thing as perfection, so. And the beauty of handmade gifts, you know, cards, tags, whatever, is that there's imperfections there. So If you do want to give this like a little tap to kind of help these level, I'm just picking it up, you know, about 1/2 inch or so off and just letting it drop. That'll kind of help level it a little bit more. But we'll set this aside to dry, and you can see it's kind of got that hazy blue look. That'll dry completely clear when it's dry, so you'll know when it's dry. All right, we'll move on to the next card. All right, so for this next card, I'm going to be using the Sizzix stencil and stamp tool. It comes with this little adapter, and it comes with the stamping lid with the grid line, but we won't be needing that quite yet. First, we are going to work on a stencil, and we'll be using this paste, which I'm sure that you guys have all, you know, used some kind of like mixed media modeling type paste through a stencil before, but what we're going to be doing different is adding some glitter on top. I am going to be using the Finnabair Ebony and Ivory, one of these really pretty iridescent ones. And we're going to make it look like snow. I've already pre-cut another piece of the white smooth cardstock, and I'm also going to be using a couple of the Tim Holtz Distress Oxides. And I also am going to need this here. Let's see, one of these colors I've already got on that. And I need a foam for that one. I don't have a foam for that one yet. So let me set these aside. And this stencil is the Cosmopolitan Happy Holidays, also from Stacey Park and Sizzix. There's the number for you. This is a really cute little tree, and I'm going to do this layer here with the paste just to make the branches, the inner branch of the holly and the berries glittery and snowy. So with Sizzix stencils, let me put them in order. They have these nice little notches here at the top that allow you to hook it to, let me move this up one more so that you can see a little bit better here in my camera. They'll allow you to just pop that right on. That keeps your stencil in place. It's super easy to use. And I am going to place this here. There's some like etched lines around the design. It's probably a little hard to see on camera, but they are there. That's where the design is going to go. So you can always kind of trim this paper down later. But I think I sized this to be 5 by 7. I'm just trying to get it a little bit centered. That way if I don't want to cut it down, I don't have to. Okay. And you can just press your paper right into the sticky grid. The sticky grid lasts a really long time. You just can't clean it off because it's, you know, it's kind of like double-sided mint tape, basically. All right. And I am going to use some mint tape here because I don't want that there. I'm going to stamp a sentiment later. So I am going to use some mint tape to just mask off. Let's tear it there. Mask off areas that I don't want to do anything with. All right, so this can accept the flat foam or domed foam. And this is, I think, the scrapbook.com domed foam, but I'm sure like the Tim Holtz ones would work. And then Sizzix sells like flat ones, but I'm going to be using domed foam. I like the domed one better. Sometimes I have a tendency to press a little too hard. So I'm going to start off by doing this star up here in yellow. And this I want to do in the lighter green. And I think there's 4 layers to this stencil, so I'm probably going to do this in like a really light pressure and then deepen it up on another, deepen the same color up on another layer. So And of course, this is like the scrapbook.com domed foam blending tool, so you can use this on here too. I just don't want to take my foam off. And it shows you that, you know, you can use any tool on this, but I still really like the multi-tool because this head is extra. It just pops right onto any other multi-tool that you have from Sizzix. So, I kind of missed that spot up there. There we go. Kind of lift that up. You can see that looks good. I like, whoop, that's fine. Still goes right back in the same spot. This shading where it's not all even, I think that looks more natural. I like that. And I think for this layer that deepens the star up, I might add a little more of that squeeze lemonade, but this is a pretty fresh ink pad, so it was already pretty highly pigmented. We'll see. Let's see how that works. Can I get that little push, little daub? That might deepen it. And I think I'll do on the third one, there's another layer for the star, but we'll do that with the modeling paste. And I think maybe we'll see, because there's two different layers. We'll see. We'll see. This stencil is nice because it's got a bunch of different little layers of sentiments that you can choose from. See here. Nope, I think for this one we'll move over to this darker. Let's see, I use Squeeze Lemonade, Bundled Sage, and this one is Rustic Wilderness. So like with all the dome foam blending tools, there's a little Velcro on there, so you just peel it off. No, you know what? I do want this one. So I'm going to load my brush up just a little bit more for this. And this one I am going to press a little bit harder so that you can tell the difference between the first layer and the second layer. And it'll kind of make it look like a different color. All right. Ooh, that's on there so tight. So there's that one. So you can see a difference in those greens. Just gonna peel off my tape again. I do like to reuse my mint tape until it's lost its sticky. All right. And on this one, I want to use the Rustic Wilderness. I do want to cover up this star. I don't want green getting in there. You guys let me know in the comments below what your favorite inks to use are. I've always been a fan of Distress Oxides. I really liked the softer kind of, they speak to my pastel shabby chic heart. Oop. Let's not get anything in that, Adrian. I almost forgot about those. I'm trying to be careful. I recently discovered Catherine Pooler inks. I like those because you can make your own custom paper color with it. Kind of deepen some of that out there. All right, so this is going to be a little hard because then this will go directly over that. So I think maybe what I'm going to do is skip the star. I don't know, that makes sense to have it be shiny though. All right, well, I'm going to put on the dimensional paste on this, and then maybe I'll see if I'm brave enough to try just doing the star with the paste as well. And again, this also has the little lid here, and this isn't going to require very much here. I just want a good layer on here. We go. I think I got all of it now. That looks nice. And again, I'm just going to wipe this off and I'll clean it more in depth in my sink later. Oh, I guess I wanted to try. Well, I'm going to try doing that. You can, if you want, sprinkle the glitter on now, which is what I'm going to do later. But you will get glitter on your stencil. It'll get all stuck up in that paste, and I don't want to do that. Let's see if I can be brave and just hold this just enough. Let me kind of see if I can do this on camera for you here. I'm gonna try and like mask that off. We'll see how well that sticks because there's ink on it, but that should mask off that star a little bit. And I don't want to press this all the way down. But I do want to add just to this star here, this paste. There we go. I did it. I did it without ruining the whole card. Okay, so then I am going to peel this off just so I'm not getting glitter all over my sticky grid. Sticky grid releases nice and easy, so you just want to be careful when you have pastes on that you're not going to accidentally mess it up. Let's close this up again. Clean that off again. Getting messy with mixed media kind of reminds me of when I used to play as a kid. And I'm just going to use a piece of white computer paper to catch my fall off glitter. Let's just see how well this works. We're playing together. This is kind of a trial run for me here on how well this works. We're going to see. Just want to make sure I give that a nice good coverage. You may also stick a little bit to your, if your Distress Oxides were still a little wet, and that's totally fine. So I think that turned out really good. I see I have a little bit of spillage where I got some ink and some other things here, but I think that looks really nice otherwise. So I'm gonna let this dry, and then I should be able to brush off some of that excess glitter a little bit better. Okay, so this is dry, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to kind of brush some of this excess glitter off. You can use whatever brush, but I'm using a fan brush. Sorry, the air quality is really bad today, so just kind of see the little... Is it focused? There we go. See a little hint of glitter there? All right, so I did trim this down off camera with my scoring board and trimmer tool, and I cut a mat for this, but I am going to go ahead and stamp on here, and I'm going to use this Rustic Wilderness again. And just put that down. And this one. And I think I'm gonna put it like that right there. I think that'll be kind of fun and different. Turn this sideways so I don't hit my camera. Pick that up. Sorry, guys. So here's one impression. And two. And I think that's good. I like to use the scrapbook.com repositionable adhesive. Put a little bit of that on there. Not quite. And that's why I like to use the repositionable. That looks better. All right, so that one is done and ready to go. Okay. So that's what that one will look like. And I am gonna use a little bit of this to just hold it in place until I get it where I want it. Flip this over actually. And then this is the permanent adhesive. I'm just gonna come in now that it's kind of being held in place. I'm just gonna, just because this one's embossed, and I wanna make sure that this stays in place right from the get-go. And then this is gonna go right on top, and you can see now that that liquid effect is dry, and I use the metallic, Tim Holtz metallic paper for this, and then the warm and cool pad for the other pieces here. And I want to pop this up off the background just a little bit, not too much. So I'm going to take the 1/4 inch 1mm foam. We'll go with my festive red Tim Holtz scissors for this. Press that on. And then I have this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna trim this down. And I can see that this isn't totally perfect and straight, and that's okay. I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to put on. Oh, my AC is coming on, guys. You'll probably hear it in the background, but it's too hot out to. This tool head, and this can distress the edges of your paper, and because this is a Tim Holtz die, I feel like, you know, it already kind of is distressed and fun and vintage, so I think this will match. I feel like that got cut close there. Did I do that with the scissors? I'm not even paying any attention. It's been a long week, guys. Got a lot of upcoming, you know, I'm on the Sizzix design team, and then I'm also on the Prima design team, guys, and there's a lot coming up over the next like 3 months. I feel like it's been non-stop though, like since the beginning of the year. But I think you guys are really gonna like some of the things that are coming your way from Sizzix and from Prima over the next couple of months. So think that looks super cute. I don't care that it's crooked. Oh, I've had to just let things go. I've gotten much better about letting things go. So this is the 1/8 inch 2mm. There. Perfect little vintagey handmade, not perfect, but super cute card. So that one's done. Hey guys, editor Adrienne here. My microphone battery died, so I'm getting to voice over this section. I basically recut this die here, but before I did, I applied double-sided adhesive to the back of the cardstock, and this will essentially create like a sticker that will be really easy to stick down onto that glossy cardstock, and I'm just peeling off that backing there. You could try using liquid adhesive with this, but I think that this double-sided adhesive from scrapbook.com will help hold on much better in the long run and won't peel off. And I grabbed some of my magnets for my magnetic glass mat just to hold that in place while I stick that down, because this is a once you stick it down, it's in place, you cannot move it. So I'm just pressing it right in, and that just creates this really lovely snowflakey kind of background that I just think is so beautiful. I love iridescent sparkle. I think it's like one of my favorite things ever. And so again, for this, I'm just using a little bit of the scrapbook.com dotted adhesive, which is repositionable for a little while. It does become permanent later, but I do want to make sure that that gets tacked into place, I think. So I end up using some of the permanent adhesive. Yes, I do. So I also add in some of the permanent adhesive just to make sure that that really stays in place, so that that white paper that we put the paste on doesn't curl at any point or peel off. I just want to tack it down really good. And I want to make this card a little three-dimensional, and so I'm just using up some of my double-sided foam adhesive. And this is the 2mm 1 inch from scrapbook.com. You can see my roll is basically done there. I just want to use that last little piece. Okay, so I found a fresh 1 inch and 2 inch wide 2mm foam rolls. These rolls are massive. And I'm just going to apply another strip of 1 inch wide here to finish off that row. And then I move on to the 2 inch thick or wide 2mm foam. And this one I cut off, it's kind of a little, that large roll is a little unwieldy, so I piece this one, and I'm okay with that. And what I actually like about having pieced it together is it allows me to just peel one off and place it where I want before the whole card goes down. You could also try adding liquid adhesive over all of your foam. That gives you just a little bit of wiggle time, but if you have it pieced together, that works well. And I noticed that I had just a little bit of foam overhang, so I'm just trimming that off with some scissors before I fully stick it down. And so I'm just sticking that one corner down, and then I peel off the rest of the backing on this foam adhesive. Anyway, so this is stuck down now, and we just need to add a little bit of embellishment to this card. I die cut that little center piece out that comes along in that die set, and I just want to add a tiny bit of dimension to it as well. Not much, because we did the 2mm on the background. So this is just getting a 1mm piece of foam on the back of that. And I think what I love so much about this particular die for cards is that it's perfect for creating like a wintry background or a star, but on this orientation, it looks like a Star of David, and so it's perfect for Hanukkah cards as well. And then again, I stamped another sentiment, and because this one's wider, I'm going to go ahead and do it in the landscape orientation. And I'm just going to trim it down and create a banner exactly the same as I did with the wreath card, so I won't show all of that process. Okay friends, so that's it. That's a wrap on this. This is 3 cards with 3 simple mixed media techniques. And if you have any questions about any of these techniques or any of the products that you saw today, let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions about any other mixed media products in specific that weren't covered in here, but that you've seen and you want to know more about, let me know in the comments. And if there's anything that you guys would like to see in particular from me in the future, any specific techniques you want me to cover, any specific products that you want me to use, whether that's from Prima or Sizzix or Rene Bouquet or Spellbinders or scrapbook.com, let me know in the comments and I will try and get a video out for you guys. And the other video that I'm hoping to work on for you guys, hopefully next month, filming, is my photography and videography stuff, so you guys can see a little more of a peek into what goes into making all of my photos and flat lays and my videos and things like that. So I'm just trying to get to a point where my my design team obligations aren't crazy, so I'm hoping maybe next month, we'll see. But anyway, so yeah, that's it for this video, and if you liked anything you saw, check the description box. I've got everything linked below for you guys, and that's it. Until next time, happy crafting.